Dear YouTuber, we would like to send you a free blank so that you can make a free video for free advertising. Every day I get emails that ask if I would like to receive a product for free so that I can make a video for you guys and showcase a product for free, and I pretty much say no. There are 2 times when I say yes. Number one, if it's something that could benefit the channel, so maybe it's lighting or some kind of microphone. And then sometimes lighting has been something I've said yes to, but for the most part, most of the products are like strange. One time I got like a shower head request or like a vacuum of some kind. So some companies don't even know what our channel is about. So I thought that this video would be great is if I showed you some of the products that I would be sponsored by. You know, almost as like a thank you to the companies. And all these things I've bought with my own money. And that's the other issue is a lot of times if, you know, some videos are sponsored or if the product got sent for free as a loaner, well, we're all human, right? We all have biases. So if a company sends you something, you really are going to be a little diplomatic about it. And you're not going to bash. For the most part, I would say if you start bashing a product that gets sent to you for free, then you're probably going to lose that relationship. All right, so I'm going to mention a few companies and products and software that I use that I just want to give a free shout out to because I use them and no money has been exchanged here. These are things that I actually bought with my own money, but I feel that they work for me. Now, that's not to say that there's something better. It's just as a regular person, sometimes you buy one thing and it just works. You don't buy 5 of one and pick the best. So that might be the case here for some of the stuff. But let's start with the first one. The first company I wouldn't mind being sponsored by is a company called Rogue, because I use the Rogue Flashbender. This right here is the Rogue Flashbender Large. This is version 3. I've used every version that has come out of this guy. And it's been fantastic. It allows me to bounce light forward in very dark, event receptions. I usually like to kind of bounce my flash behind me if I can, if the wall is white. But a lot of times if you're shooting outdoors or if the ceilings are black, then the Rogue Flashbender is really nice. Especially, I know it looks ridiculous, but this really large Flashbender, if you get close to people, it gives you softish enough light. I just really like the style of images I get with people dancing, people having a great time. I just love the Flashbender for that. So Rogue, they also make grids and gels and all that stuff, but not sponsored by a Rogue. Okay, number 2 in no particular order, Think Tank bags. Think Tank bags are just so quality, and not only are they super quality and have great zippers and great materials, I love that whoever designed the bags thinks so much about the usability, the pockets, that the zippers, some of the zippers have very cool like pulls on them. The zippers are quality. An SD card pouch that closes up but then has a little bit of a clip on it so that if you lose your SD wallet, it has a little dongle on it. All those little touches, I just love Think Tank because they think about that stuff. Their Airport series, I use that for my gear that holds all my lighting gear and my backup camera and all that stuff. See, look at these zippers. They're so great. This opens all the way across and they actually have a zipper on the other side. So they put 2 zippers on it. Instead of you needing to memorize where the zipper is, there's always a zipper available to you. Think Tank. Okay, number 3 in no particular order. Do you know those websites that, you can learn skills online and take classes? I was approached to, advertise for them, but in reality, I pay for a pass, a Creative Live pass, to sort of motivate myself. I was an original lover of Creative Live when they started doing online classes, and with Zach Arias's class, and I learned almost all my lighting techniques and my Photoshop techniques from Creative Live. And I felt I would be a hypocrite if I advertised for like a different sort of service. Sometimes it's not just for learning. Sometimes you feel like a little down or unmotivated and you just watch a little bit of a shoot, and I'll throw on like a Roberto Valenzuela class where he's, joking and photographing, posing people. So Creative Live, not sponsored, number 3. Next, this video is not sponsored by Godox. Godox makes a line of speed lights and studio lights and all kinds of different lights. And the best thing about the Godox system is for someone who shoots with different cameras and different camera brands. If you have a Fujifilm camera and you buy a Godox Fujifilm, trigger, it'll trigger all these lights. It doesn't matter if they're Canon versions or if they're, Fujifilm versions. It doesn't matter as long as you have the right trigger on top. Second, their speed lights are great because they have lithium batteries. I am done with AA batteries and charging all these AA batteries before an event. I love the lithium battery that's on there. Now, they just announced a new version of this speed light, and I'm a little sad because they're removing this type of battery with the door. And instead they're replacing it with the V1 battery, which kind of like snakes through and there's a hole through the flash. I just hate that version because I found with the V1 that, in the middle of an event, if you're gonna change your battery, it's always confusing which direction it goes in. And I've dropped this studio strobe and it's cracked. Here it's broken, this thing flew off and it still works. So I'm not saying they're super well built, but so far mine that have fallen have continued to work. So good job, Godox, good job. All right, who else are we not sponsored by? Oh, Optech USA. Optech USA, I would love to be sponsored by Optech USA because I use all their straps. Optech USA is my strap of choice because you can go from a neck strap and then you can unclick it and then you can put a wrist strap on here. I've got it for my larger camera systems like this Nikon Z6 II and also my little Fujifilm cameras. They have a tiny, clip system. And the Optech USA stuff just works great. I like this system better than the Peak Design system, which kind of works the same way. You can have straps and things because it's cheaper, and also it has my favorite kind of clip and unclip, which is the famous little clipperoonies. These are called clipperoonies. My only knock on my sponsor, Optech USA, is that their straps aren't really beautiful. They're more function over beauty. So it would be awesome if they did something like there's a company called Holdfast, I think. I think they make like beautiful leather straps for your cameras. It would be cool if Optech USA made like a little prettier, like a premium line, leather or some kind of better design instead of this neoprene scuba diving kind of, thingamabob. My next non-sponsor that I would be sponsored by is SmugMug. SmugMug is where I store all my photographs. I've stored my photographs, for years, since SmugMug was born, maybe. But I just love the images look beautiful on there. They load quickly and it integrates with my Lightroom. So I could just publish all my images to SmugMug. And if I make any changes, they're always live on my SmugMug. All right, next up, SanDisk. Memory cards are not exciting, but I always go with SanDisk. The ones I've had the least amount of problems with, I think in all my shooting years, I've only had 2 cards go kind of haywire. One of them came back to life and one of them totally died forever. I tried a couple of other brands, but I'm a little bit superstitious, so I try to stick to the same brand. And you should also recycle your cards. Every year I buy new cards so that, for that season, there's like fresh ones in there. And then I relegate the older ones to some of my more fun cameras as opposed to working ones. And then the other SanDisk thing I love the little SanDisk SSD drives. Also, that SSD drive holds my Lightroom catalog so they could be read really quickly on there. So I have one hiding behind my computer that's always plugged in. So SanDisk, thank you for not sponsoring us. Now, as far as software goes, there's a couple of pieces of software that are integral to my business and also my photography. One of them is Photomechanic. Photomechanic is a culling app that allows you to fly through your photos and really mark them and look at them and check them. And the type of shooter I am, I'm a high volume and also a high burst shooter. So I have a lot of photographs to go through, so I use Photo Mechanic to go through those images really quickly before I have to edit them. Another one is my studio software. I use Sprout Studio. Sprout Studio is like an all-in-one. It automates my emails. It has, anytime someone messages me that wants to hire me, Sprout Studio takes care of everything in the background. It's almost like an automated little robot. It has you can schedule people for shoots on there. You can, set up galleries if you wanted to. And when my clients are designing their mitzvah albums, they can flip through sort of a designed album and write notes on it. So my studio software, it's like $500 a year, but if I had to pay someone to do everything that Sprout Studio does, I'd be paying them thousands. And the best part of Sprout Studio, not sponsored by, is the owner and the creator and their community are on Facebook, and they talk to you, they answer your questions, and they're very transparent, and just, it's really, you feel like you're part of the company. So I just love that about Sprout Studio. Another software that I would be sponsored by, these people actually contacted me to do a sponsorship, and I just never returned their call. So sorry. So here's your free one right here, is Disk Drill. I've had a hard drive go bad, and I ran it through the software Disk Drill, which is kind of like a data recovery software, and it got like 98% of all the images back, and I got to move them to another drive. So it sort of works through like corrupt drives, and also when there's, it can scan disks and bring back your memories. So they definitely need a shout out because I've used them and it has worked. And so I love them. And the other one is Delta Walker software. And I use this all the time to compare drives. If I'm copying one thing from one drive to another, sometimes you need to look at both versions, and it scans the whole thing and tells you if there's any differences. By the way, I would be sponsored by Hydro Flask. This was just a free bottle I got, and the best thing about the Hydro Flask is you could keep this in a hot car, and the water inside is always delicious, clean, and cold. Now, as far as cameras and lenses go, I really can't be sponsored by any camera or lens because I've tried all of them. I like trying all of them because I see cameras as tools, and I think there's different tools for different jobs. Like for Fujifilm, small cameras for walking around and taking amazing street photos. However, I wouldn't shoot an event with a Fujifilm camera. It's just not how I want to work. This one is the best video camera. I've tried Fujifilm for shooting YouTube videos, and it just moves around. The lenses that I have make noise. It likes the background more than my face, which I totally understand. If I was a street shooter and I was going out doing POV videos of shooting street photography and small cameras, I would be sponsored by Fujifilm. Small lenses, great film simulations, fun cameras to use with dials and controls, and they just take great pictures, and it's just great form factor. And right now, the Nikon Z6 II is my favorite image quality for photographs. I love the colors that are coming out of it. The files are just so easy to massage. And there's just a quality of this camera. It's also a beautiful viewfinder, a beautiful screen. The touch screen is great. So I just love this Nikon Z6 II. So I would be sponsored by Nikon, why not? But I'd have to give up Fujifilm, and I'd have to give up the Sony video. So it's a little hard for me because I love all kinds of camera brands. Who would you be sponsored by? Name one company in the comments below that has been good to you, and we'll call it your sponsorship. All right, I'll see you guys next time.